Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, one and all. Thanks for joining us in this episode of BRM Brown Bag. I'm your host, Suresh GP, and we are today on episode number 31. For people who are joining for the first time, the Business Relationship Management Brown Bag is an episode that we started off a couple of years before to interview real-world practitioners to share their practical insights to people who are either aspiring to be a BRM or people who are already playing the role within organizations. So today, I'm very happy to introduce our guest, Mr. Mohammed Muslim, who is actually a practicing BRM and also the regional leader for Middle East BRM community. He has over 26 plus years in the industry, specifically on healthcare, and he was recently conferred the Certified Business Relationship Manager. So I thought it is very important for us to understand how BRM in healthcare works. And please join me in welcoming Mohammed Muslim to this episode. Thanks, Mohammed, for taking time for us to being with us in this episode and sharing some insights on that. I love this background that you have, BRM in healthcare. Thanks for putting this across. So how are you doing? And give us a little bit of an introduction about your journey in this whole BRM space. And you've been in the Middle East region for so long. So just give us a little bit of a memory lane that we all can understand about your journey.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Suresh, for the opportunity. And definitely, Suresh, you've been, a mentor since last 3-4 years. You've been, always motivating, the BRM journeys of various stalwarts. And yourself, your journey is in fact inspirational for all of us. And again, thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, so let me just start with myself. So I've been in healthcare from like 26 years, complete healthcare industry experience in operations, in compliance, quality management, project management, healthcare IT. So I've been there and done that, everywhere. So finally, I land up, 5 years back on the BRM journey. And my BRM journey started with this organization currently I'm on. And it just started one fine day with the chief coming from National Health Services UK and joining our organization. And he says that this was a team back in UK where they had the BRMs and how effective they were in getting things done between the IT and the business partners within the hospitals across NHS. So that's what he brought to us. And when I looked at this, and I just, when they invited me to join the BRM, function in the organization, I just, grabbed the opportunity because I was waiting for something like this. I have been a kind of account manager for some of the hospitals within our organization, which consists of around 16 hospitals, right, and more than 35,000 employees. So anyway, so I'm a healthcare IT BRM within this organization. And definitely, I would like to start that journey. Any BRM's journey is different, but I think what common it is that when you are inducted as a BRM within an organization, the first thing you get is to get in touch with your stakeholders, the key stakeholders, and that would initially start with the management introducing you to various business partners, key business partners, from where the journey starts. And that's where you need to start building your real relationships, because you might not meet the key stakeholder all the time, but under him, there are various stakeholders which are the champions of that business partner which you need to meet. So that's how it all starts with. So the first impression you need to really put on, like any other industry, any other organization, is to meet the stakeholders and get a buy-in from them, give them awareness, because BRMs is still, very new to
Correct.
the rest of the world, rest of the industries,
Sure.
and especially where I'm coming from. They ask me still they ask me after 5 years, some of them, can you just describe your role? What does this do? How can you help us?
Sure.
And so we got to keep repeating that within our organization also. So yeah, definitely. But what is different really from other industries within the healthcare is that you really need to know the clinical processes plus the business operations. That's what you need to know before even entering. So you
Right.
need to be aware of what they really do, because you could be a IT professional and just become a BRM, and you don't understand what they do. How can you help them
Correct.
completely? You may be
Correct.
able to, yeah, just help them in a way from technology point of view. But if you don't understand the other side, what they require, so there will be a disconnect
Correct.
always.
No,
So
I
yeah,
think you're right, absolutely right, Mohammed Muslim, because one of the reasons that people think is IT is anything is IT, we can apply IT in any kind of
correct,
fields. But
correct,
you're trying to help clinicians. You're trying
correct,
to look at helping your business partners could be your doctors, your physicians, your clinical surgeons. So how are
correct,
we going to understand their business process? What is value
correct,
for them? And
correct,
and even understanding some dimensions of the domain knowledge is going to be
correct.
critical for people to stay relevant. Otherwise, they say, hey, you know what? You're talking a language you don't understand. You just
Correct.
understand what we are talking about. So that has
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
be a part of the
That's right. It's got to be a meeting of minds, but for that, you need to work on it. You can't expect that they understand you and you understand them.
correct.
So it has to be a win-win situation when you want to really deliver the best in healthcare, because that's what they're waiting for. They know that there's so much technological advancements everywhere, but then coming back, to really delivering what they require is where you come in,
Correct.
because there is, like in other industries, in healthcare particularly, because here you're dealing with patient lives,
Correct.
and you really need to look not once, not twice, but many times before even taking the requirements, making sure they're coming perfectly well, because this is again going into the patient delivery.
Correct.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So
it's
let's
different.
start.
Yeah,
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 let's start with the first kind of the question. What does the journey entail for a business relationship manager in healthcare? Because you've done this role for about 5 years. And
correct.
very specific to the healthcare, you did talk about the knowledge of the business process, understanding the stakeholders' needs, and where are we going to work together? What's the commonality? What's the kind of working one? So in your 5 years, as you see the BRM part of the journey, has it been tactical? Have you gone to that strategic or trusted
Yeah,
advisor? What has been your journey? Because I'm someone who is in healthcare, but I don't know whether I will move to a BRM. So
correct.
what would you look at back in the last 5 years as the journey for a BRM in healthcare?
Yeah, so it definitely, the maturity life of a BRM or BRM within an organization is always starting at that low.
Right,
You are at that because organization does not understand that you have come and what you can offer to them. So it starts at that ad hoc level. If
right,
you see the maturity model, it is very relevant to any industry, and also to healthcare industry. So it starts at ad hoc, and that's where you're trying to just please them and get into the picture and showing them that you can offer something. But then that is not very long lived, because you need to go up to the next levels. You need to start getting your act together
correct.
and reaching the next levels of maturity. So that was very evident in our case also,
Right.
the BRM function here. And the journey started there, but quickly, when they realized that what BRMs can offer, and they didn't, the business partners do not really need to depend on the chief of IT or the managers of IT, knowing who it is, whom to communicate to get what, that's where brought us to the next maturity level, you
Sure.
know. And then we came to the level then unfortunately, COVID started,
Yeah.
at our times. So there was a bit of disconnect, but it was more, face-to-face meetings stopped. We had to be virtual. So for our journey to, go to the next maturity levels, it was a bit slow, but still we were trying to, handle it virtually. So I think it could have been much better, and the duration of reaching next levels would have been lesser. But then what I feel is that the journey we have come through in the last 5 years, we've reached a level where, we are on a trusted advisor level right
Right.
now. I wouldn't say at strategic. At some points of times, we are here and there, but you cannot really, say that we are there. So we are at maturity number 4 at the moment. Yeah.
Awesome. And I want to ask this question because a lot of people think that, oh, BRM sounds to be a great job. Let's get into the board. So
Yeah.
I wanted to understand from your perspective, what have been your significant challenges when you encountered in the role as a BRM within healthcare space? It all looks rosy and say that
Correct.
that's a great job, right? It looks to be fancy. You'll probably go and meet people. You just out of the, but the reality might be strikingly different.
Absolutely. It's not a sales job. People think BRM is an account manager job.
Right,
Yes,
right,
definitely there is a part of account management because you are dedicated to some business partners. You need to cater to them. But here, nothing is being sold.
correct,
Okay. So there might be BRMs who are also salespeople.
right,
But as a core BRM function, what I feel is that it is more of giving than taking.
right,
Okay. So you're here to take from the service providers, give it to the business partners.
correct,
You're the middleman. You
correct,
need to bridge that gap,
right,
and make it easy for your business partners, their operations to, what they require to make it easier.
correct.
So uh, where was I?
So we're talking about the significant challenges. So what are some of the challenges you have faced in
Oh,
this
yeah.
role? Yeah,
Yeah. So the challenges is firstly, when it comes to healthcare, it becomes more, unique. There are, government regulations, there are public health regulations, which you need to really look at before even, getting the requirements. Because if you have a need from a business partner and that has to match to, if you can even go to the first step of delivering, does the public health allow you to get into that domain?
right,
Then you have challenges of, really different business partners have their agendas, there's
correct,
politics involved. Same applies in healthcare, but particularly within healthcare, you need to really know their business processes,
right,
clinical and operational processes, because that's where, that's the main challenge, that if you don't understand clinical processes, how do you are going to, like, I was speaking earlier, that here, the clinical part, the clinicians, the IT professionals, and then within them, the support staff. So
correct,
if there are requirements, there are needs, you need to bring all of them together
right,
and then get your challenges sorted out, because every second at least requirement will be something new within healthcare, and that is very specific because there are many specialties within healthcare. You have neurology, you have cardiology, so everyone's requirements are a little different.
right,
You really need to know, be in that domain to, yeah. I
right.
fortunately, I'm in healthcare, so it's okay for me from last 25 years. But for some other BRM in the team, which I have other BRMs, they were never there in healthcare and they just
Sure,
put into that. So
correct.
it's different for them. Yeah.
Sure, sure. Yeah, absolutely right. And in terms of looking at other healthcare organizations, Mohammed Muslim, right? What has been your observed maturity levels of BRM practices? You just talked about we have to start something at an ad hoc level, right? We have
Yeah.
to move on. But where are in if I try to look at a benchmarking of BRM role in the healthcare industry, how do you look at broadly the maturity levels? I mean, based on your conversations and things, because this is a very interesting part. I want to know, is everybody onto the same level, or there's multiple different levels that you
I
see?
think the best what I can say is that they are at a service provider level.
Right,
It's just that what you ask for, what you get,
correct,
you know. So what we as BRMs is not that.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
There's much more, two more levels to go. So we need to offer much more than they ask. Proactively, you need to tell them about the technological advancements
Right.
and offer them, like what is, for example, AI in healthcare.
Correct.
So this, what they are asking for, we might already have a solution which is much more advanced than what is requested.
Correct.
So we need to create that awareness here.
Sure, sure. No, I think that's absolutely right. And you said that is service provider level. So for people who are listening, service provider is just at level 3, which means that you
Correct.
just do what you're asking. So I
Correct.
call this particular part like a, okay, you're there, you're doing it. So
Yeah.
what? You know, what's the big deal, right?
Exactly.
And most of the times they also outsource like
Correct.
IT because they
Correct.
don't see this as more of a trusted advisor or a strategic partner, right? So it's also important for us to elevate IT's value to see beyond just the service provider. So you're absolutely right that we cannot just be contented with what we have. Now,
Yeah.
from your perspective on a business relationship management, how much is how much extent do you think that the role of BRM impacts strategic decision making? Because somewhere we all want to be a strategic partner. You did mention that we are not yet there, but you will go. But do you see from your own candid perspective that the role of BRM can impact strategic decision making?
Definitely, definitely. What I have observed through my evolution as a BRM within this organization, because since I'm BRM and I'm in the same organization, what I have seen is that, first you have that, you come to a level where you're getting things done. All right, people are satisfied. Then a level comes next when people are trusting you.
Hmm.
And that's what I was trying to come to, is that there are some of the business partners where we have come to a strategic level because they kept on trusting us for
Right.
a long time on various needs that they have. And now, for example, I was on vacation, you're aware of it.
Sure.
And there was some pending. I did hand over to my colleagues, but when I came back, they said that no, we wanted you,
Correct.
and we are waiting just for you to get things done. So that trust level
Sure.
and to take strategic decisions based on our inputs as BRM,
Right.
because we are the backbone for them, IT backbone, to provide that knowledge sharing on the IT terms, whether we can even, so for their budgeting to happen and for them to take those last decisions, that's where the BRM's journey has to end. End means there's another start to it.
Sure.
Of the strategic, level. So that's how it is. You need to build your trust, your confidence in them.
Correct.
And it's not just going to come with a couple of meetings.
Correct.
You need to really do some things right to reach that level.
Well, I love this one because you're saying that you become a Mr. Dependable
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
waiting for you to come there and do the
Correct.
honors, which is I think it's a very important part where if your business partners start thinking about, hey, I need Mohammed Muslim because he's the right hand, which
Correct.
means that it's taken so much time and effort to build the trust and loyalty as well as value, right? More than anything else.
Exactly.
One is part is trust, but the value that you have created over the
That's right.
years,
Yeah.
it's part of it. But let's flip on that question, because if everybody wants Mohammed Muslim to do this one,
Yeah.
are you becoming a bottleneck because everybody wants you to be serving the business partners? Or are you trying to scale, because you said there are other BRMs in the region? So how do you navigate, or how do you what's your ratio of business partner versus BRM, and how can you elevate the other rest of the BRMs? Because as a leader, your
Correct.
job is also to create and elevate the other BRMs to play this role. So how do you play
Correct.
that?
So within our team, what we do is that if new BRMs join or someone leaves, another one joins, what we do is that we accompany them
Right.
with us to the business partners, and they are more of silent, colleagues with us who will be observing how do we deal with them,
Right.
what is our mechanism or what is our techniques of dealing with the business partners.
Right.
So it is again a journey for them to come to a level, where we have reached or they can reach above us, depending, because every BRM is having a different personality.
Correct.
You cannot really compare some BRMs, quickly click with the business partners.
Correct.
But some take efforts. Some business partners are difficult. Their demands are difficult, to please, because they come up with demands which your IT cannot provide at this point of time, or it could be a budgeting issue. It could be a strategic plan of HICT, which is, still pending for those requests to come in. So it's different. Yeah, it's situational. It is more of getting to know each other and understanding and building that trust, that what can be asked and what can be offered.
Awesome. So I have my a last question for this one is basically how can BRMs effectively drive innovation? Because every organization today says that, what's our leap ahead, right? With AI, machine learning, how do we
Yeah,
kind of get ahead of the race, right? And healthcare is a very important visible across, right? In terms of
correct,
the way that government, there's a lot of funding that happens, there's a lot
correct,
more visibility, and there's a lot of impact in terms
correct.
of citizens, in terms of the industry and stuff like that. So what kind of ways that you think that BRMs can do innovation within the healthcare organizations?
So I think directly, like any other industry within healthcare, again, you have to be knowledgeable about the new trends happening, what's happening, what is your strategic IT plan, and that every business partner wouldn't know.
Correct.
So they might know there's a strategy, but they'll never see that document.
Correct.
They'll just come to you, ask for, whatever is their wish list. But again, coming back, I think innovation is finding opportunities, what you are knowledgeable about, and handing over that education to your business partners when a need comes. You
Right.
can say, oh, there's a better way to do it, or we already have it in this way, we can customize it for you. So innovation does not have to be a discovery of
Correct.
new, software or anything, but innovation is much building on or what is available and not being used, or not aware by the business partner.
Sure.
And I think every opportunity, that is where our communication skills come in. When you are speaking more and more to your business partners, you'll realize that what they require you might already have,
Correct.
or there is available in the market, or it is coming. So you can make them aware that if you wait for some more time, this is what will be available.
Sure.
So I think I look at innovation that point of view, that you may be developing something on your own, but if there is already something which you can build on,
Sure.
why to reinvent the wheel?
Absolutely. And I think you're right that the more important is to prevent value leakage, right? Something has
Correct.
been there. If they're not even fully
Yeah,
utilizing, can we
exactly.
help them to realize the full value? And even educating, as you rightly said, some people
Yeah,
might not even know that this exists, or probably it makes your life a lot more easier when you provide that insight. So that could
correct.
also qualify for the innovation part. So this is great. I think we would do another episode
Yeah.
because we have a lot more questions to discuss. But thank you so much, Mohammed Muslim, for sharing your insights on BRM in healthcare. For viewers, we will continue this episode 32, where we're going to go into much more deeper on some of the skills, some of the competencies, and some of those ways that things can happen. But thank you so much, Mohammed Muslim, for your time today.
Not at all.
And we'll look forward to the next deeper episodes because you've set the benchmark high, and people will be quite keen to understand more about that. But thank you
Yeah,
so much for sharing some
sure.
insights valuable for
Looking
the
forward to it, and thank you again for the opportunity. Thank you, Suresh.
excellent. So viewers, we had some great conversations about how things are working around. So it's important for us to start thinking on how we can start leveraging BRM in healthcare. So it's a great opportunity for you to start thinking about it and seeing this throughout. Yeah. Thank you so much.